Well, hi out there. Here we are, Friday night. Yeah, let's see what happens here. Hopefully, we'll get a couple folks on. Hey, Running Water, evening. Glad to see you stopping in, Running Water. Hey, I get to see a lot more when I do live streams than I do when you're home. It's good to see you. It is really good to see you. Yeah, as usual, I'll give it a few minutes to let folks realize that I'm up and running, and folks can jump on board, and hopefully we'll get some folks on the chat tonight and have a good conversation. Running Water, is everything coming through good? The video and audio seem to be okay? I understand you're probably using talk to text to talk to talk to talk to talk. Yeah, I know. That's something, Running Water, that I have thought of is by May. Hey, Joe Cook, great to see you. Thanks for coming in. And yeah, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I hope you are too. Hope you are too. Yeah, Running Water was just saying that I need to have my intro should be a recap previously on Sty Shack kind of thing. And I've been thinking about that. And hey, Gary, great to have you hanging out at the Sty Shack. And I've been thinking about that exactly. Doing an intro with something like previously at Sty Shack, maybe some cuts out of it, the previous one, while people are waiting for me to come on for my regular chat, and maybe little clips out of certain videos or something. But in order for me to do that, I have to use OBS, and I am having the worst, and I mean the worst time with OBS. I've got OBS all set up. I've got my scenes set up, everything set up. Everything's linked, and it's all done according to right to the book for it to go live on the YouTube. But every test I've run, YouTube is not seeing OBS when I go live. So until I get OBS squared away, I won't be able to do those front end clips or little plugins here and there. But I'm going to get that mastered one way or the other, because I need OBS for this summer. Because I definitely want OBS up and running and working so I can plug in different things during my Sty Story Sundays. And it definitely has to be running before fall when I start doing Walkabout Wednesdays. So, yeah, I'm working on it. Oh, Joe, your jerky turned out really good. Now we get on this. Hey, Sean Carls, good to see you. Great to have you on board. Now we get on this jerky talk since I got that mail call the other day. And you're just going to tempt me. I'm going to want to take off to the kitchen and grab a pack of that jerky and start chewing on that while I'm doing this stream. And I'm not going there. I'm saving that for when I'm out on the trail. That doggone Calvin over there, Calvin's Corner 72, that bugger. When I sent him that little bit of shaga, I told him, I said, yeah, this is just, it's amongst friends. You don't owe me a thing. And he goes, yeah, but we can't get it down here. And, I should be able to do something for you. And I said, no, just the fact you're so willing to participate on my channel is all the reward I would ever want. So what's he do? He sends me some of his homemade venison jerky. Now, I'd love to get Calvin up here to deer hunt. He'd be pretty surprised. You head towards the East Coast and you head down south. When I drove over the road truck, I hit many deer in many states in this country. And I don't want to hit them up here. There's a few locations in this country you don't want to hit a white-tailed deer. But in the deep south and the East Coast, if I hit them, it's like hitting a small animal. Andy K. Hey, morning, Sty. Yeah, for some folks. Yeah. For me, it feels kind of like morning. I've had a weird week. Sty's been living on about 3 hours of sleep each night for the last 5 nights. This building I live in, it's going through a process. Our landlord in our lease requires 1 annual inspection of your rental. And they do that to try to weed out bad renters, for one thing, and to find damaged apartments, plus to see if there's any improvements or renovations they need to do. Well, they inspected my apartment a month ago, and they gave me a notice that said, we will be inspecting all of our apartments between the hours of 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. And I 8 a.m. See, now for Sty, on a typical work day, I don't get home till after 10 o'clock at night. I don't get to bed till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Well, that gets me out of bed 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock on a typical morning. Well, them buggers, they want to be in here by 8 o'clock. They want to come in at 8, or they could come in as late as 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So Sty's shaking it out at 7 o'clock in the morning, getting his butt up and ready in case somebody comes flying through my door, have some breakfast, and get at least a few cups of coffee in me before they show up. Well, they didn't show up until Thursday that week. And they showed up at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Well, this week, they gave us a notice last week. They're going to do it again. So they showed up here today. Now, they were supposed to inspect all of these apartments between 8 and 4 o'clock on one of 5 days, Monday through Friday. Oh, no, they have to do it today. They wait till Friday, and they show up here at my apartment at about, 3 o'clock this afternoon. They weren't here for a minute and a half. The minute they knocked on my door, I looked at my watch, and I yelled at them, come on in. They come through the place, and they did their thing and looked around and out the door. Less than a minute and a half, and I screwed my whole week up over these guys. I told them, I said, and before they got out the door, I said, now I know you're going to do another one in April, but that one, I'm not going to be ready for you. I'm going to be just sitting here in my boxes, this old fart. And I said, I'm not going to answer the door. You'll have to use your pass key. You have to come on in. I said, the heck with you guys. I said, if you think you live here or something, just come on in, do your thing, and then get out. But yeah, so it's been quite the week. Yeah, Andy's saying that it's 5 past midnight. Yeah. Yeah, that's where the morning part comes in. Uh-huh. So I've been kind of waiting all week for this stream because I our last one went so good. I laughed so dang hard in that thing. Um, hey, I want to remind. Well, there's only half a dozen guys, half a dozen folks watching right now. But hey, if you like the streams, please give me a thumbs up. I'll ask a couple times through the night, but give me a thumbs up. It helps with the algorithm, makes it look like Sty's doing what he's supposed to do. Spread the word. Play-Doh Chuck's in the house. Hey, Sty, so you're all inspected, huh? Yeah. I want to keep this channel clean, guys. I always want to keep it clean, but I have to put a plug in on that. At least this one didn't involve any cavity searches at all. No. See, and that's why I cannot wait for my retirement, because doggone it, they tell me, well, we're going to be inspecting your home. I'm going to just pack up and go camping that week. The heck with them. Let them go look around my place while I'm out in the bush somewhere. Oh, some Norwegian dried cod. Hey, Andy, we had a pretty fair Scandinavian mix in our bloodline when I was growing up. And I mean, dried cod, lefse, lutefisk, on and on and on and on. A lot of Germans in our family. German potato salad, lots of kraut. Yeah. They're Norwegian dried cod that's one of those. It's a food of its own. My granddad was really into dried cod. No rubber gloves. Yeah. Oh, if they walked in with rubber gloves, I'd be jumping out this window. It's about 52 feet to the ground, but I might survive it. And even if I got hurt, it'd still be better than the old rubber gloves. Oh. Yeah, April. I had to stop in to work today. This is a day off. I had yesterday and today off. And I had to stop into the store today, and the boss, he said, I got the schedule up for you for next week. I said, well, it's about time. You're supposed to have it up on Tuesday. But they put the schedule up, and I looked at it, and well, now I got to work 5 in a row, and I get 1 day off. Then I go to work for a day. Then I get 1 more day off. And then they got me on 5 in a row again. Well, it works out to 5 days a week, but it's broke up. It's just stupid. And I notice he tacked on a few extra hours. And I go, well, you're scheduling me pretty tight here. What's going on? He goes, you're only here for 2 weeks. He says, we're going to use you up if we can. Jeez. So Andy says, rubber gloves are nothing, mate. Year before last, I had bloody TV crew in both ends at the same time. Hey, I went through that. That was nasty. And then they did that barium x-ray where they put about 2 gallons of that white chalky stuff. They just pour it in the back door, And then after they're done with the procedure, they tell you, oh, you can go to the restroom now. And you say, well, where's that? Because you really need, And they say, oh, it's about 25 feet down that hallway. Oh, yeah, right. I won't need to go by the time I get there. Joe Cook, you guys talking about food. Doggone it. I've told myself, do not sit here and do like these other guys in their streams because they drive me nuts too. I'm not going to sit here and start snacking. Eating in front of others is a little rude, but doggone it. You guys just want to just talk food. Now, running water, I don't even know what the heck you're talking about. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. Yeah, if you're lucky, it's body temp barium. It wasn't. It was cold. It was cool. And it just caused it almost like cold cramps. It was just, well, it was body temp by the time they got done with me. They roll you around on that table because they want that stuff through all your intestines. And that's just. Hi, Jasmine. Running water, if you want to create a new language, you're going to have to give language lessons. You're going to have to give us lessons on your new language. Rhubarb pie, my. Hey, I think I know a couple people that got some awesome rhubarb patches. Maybe they'll let me dig up a little bit, put a little on the corner of your property there at your house there, running water, and we'll have rhubarb for this late summer. Well, this year it might be a little early, but next year for sure we'd have all the rhubarb pie we'd want. Yeah, you say it might as well use the damn iceberg chunk. Running water, big yes. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Pops. Plant some rhubarb on the place. Yep. Oh, Lordy. I had 101 things I wanted to throw out there tonight, and I'll be danged if I could remember a tenth of them an hour ago. Yeah, I see we got 8 folks in the house now. That's pretty typical. That's good, 8 folks. It's as time goes on, that goes up. We get usually between 5 and 15 folks hanging out around here. I think that's going to go up with time. I really do. The one thing I wish there were more in the house before I even bring this up. I'm not going to bring it up until there's more in the house. But put the rhubarb next to the smoker. Yeah. I got to thinking about that smoker and doggone it. Yeah, I got to do it. And what I'll probably do is late spring, I'll probably go gather up all my materials and that, and get everything ready to put the smoker together. And I'll test it out a bit, make some beef jerky, and maybe smoke a few fish. We'll see. But then this fall, if all goes well, Sty just might go deer hunting this fall. I haven't deer hunted for, it's been 4 years now. So I'd love to go out there and take myself a nice big whitetail. And Sty could live on venison. I surely could. I surely could live on venison. Around the corner from the portable Sty Shack. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Sean Carl says he's got a lot of rhubarb. Oh man, I just love rhubarb. As a kid, man, we had a huge rhubarb patch. Gosh, that thing was so dang big. And as kids, you whip your pocket knife out, go in that patch, cut yourself off a nice big stock. We'd run around chewing on fresh rhubarb all the time. And my ma would make the best rhubarb pies. She'd make rhubarb pies with just rhubarb. Then she'd make rhubarb strawberry pies. And she'd make rhubarb cobbler. And oh my gosh, it was all to die for. Then she would put up a whole bunch of rhubarb jam. And she'd make like a rhubarb sauce that was home canned. Oh my gosh, we loved the rhubarb, boy. Andy says, I tried smoking fish once, was hopeless at it. Damn cigarette papers kept getting wet. Yeah, they're hard to keep lit, aren't they? Made smoked horse. What is that? Horseradish this year. Smoked horseradish. Well, now that sounds pretty interesting to me. I like horseradish. Oh, well, Joe Cook. Yeah, I had to bring that up. I haven't had moose. Oh, gosh. 15, 20 years. I love moose. We used to slow cook nice big moose roasts when I was a young boy, and my granddad always, if he didn't take a moose from northern Minnesota, his buddies always did, and he always got a bunch of moose meat. And could he slow cook a moose roast to the point where you just love it. Now, I would say, I left a comment on one of my videos about, on the mail call video, that my favorite meats start with venison, then elk, and good grass-fed beef. But okay, I gotta squeeze moose in there just under elk, because if you wouldn't have brought that up, Joe, it's been so long since I've had moose that I forgot. Yes, I love moose. You got a truckload of applewood coming. Hey, great, Rod on Water. Great. I'll mix that in. I usually use sugar maple when I smoke, but applewood's great too. It's absolutely great. Yeah, I bet you that tastes divine too, Gary. Andy's. Plain Chuck says he only ate it raw. The horseradish, the or the rhubarb. Mr. Z, great to see you. Yep, homemade horseradish. Yeah, was. Wonderful life. Welcome aboard. Thanks for stopping into the Sty Shack. Great to see you. Great to see you. Oh, yeah, I smoked the coffee grounds once. Oh, Gary will try anything, I guess. Running Water says he misses grouse. Oh, there's another one. Now you get into the bird family. Sty's always been a grouse lover. Up here in northern Wisconsin, I go out partridge hunting there almost every year, except the last two. And there's nothing I like more than a partridge in Sty's plate. Andy says he had a horse in Germany as a kid. Was surprised how nice it was. Way better than beef. All right. My grandfather, my one grandfather, was pure German. Well, close to pure German. He's Czechoslovakian German. And he was a farmer. And when I was a kid, we had this dinner at the farm, and feeding it. We had a family of 6, and it was my grandfather, grandmother, and a couple of shirt tail relatives, plus 2 uncles of mine. So there's a ton of people. They had this huge roasting pan, huge. And they had these there was 4 big roasts in that roasting pan with onions and garlic in it and blah, blah, blah. That was the best dang roast I ever ate. I mean, I loved it. I just ate helping after helping. My grandpa says, eat all you want. He says, we got to eat it up anyway. It's got to be used up. And it was after the meal, my grandfather said, well, you guys like that so much. He says, it's a shame that I don't have a horse ranch instead of dairy cows. And what? And he says, well, I had a horse that got injured, and he said I had to put him down. And he says he was a pretty young fella, and he said, but he was nice, chunky fella. He says I couldn't let him go to waste. He says, so I butchered him up. And he says we butchered him up, wrapped him up. He's at the butcher shop in town in the freezer. Well, see, I don't know today what the rules are, but back then there was no rule against you eating your own horse. You couldn't sell it on the market, he said. You can't sell it in the store in a butcher shop. But he says you can butcher your own horse and prepare it and eat it, but you just can't sell horse meat. But that, I'm not kidding, it was very tender, and it had a very nice, pleasant taste to it. It was a red meat product for sure, but it tasted so different. Oh, rhubarb. Yeah, raw rhubarb. What we got going on here? Oh, yeah, Mr. Z's asking if it isn't sweet tasting. To me, it was. It had almost like a sweeter background taste to it than any other red meat. Oh, rabbit and partridge stew with homemade bread. Yum. You guys, I told you. Why on my streams do you torture me with all this food talk? All this food talk. Just, getting Sty just hungry as can be. I used to, well, that was before I had my kids, actually. But I used to make up rabbit and squirrel stew all the time. My partridges, though, I like to cook them on a grill, or I wrap them with a lot of butter, salt and pepper. I butter them up and salt and pepper them, and I wrap them in tin foil, slow cook them in a grill, in a barbecue. Oh, I love them that way. Ooh. Yeah, Andy, that's the right way to say it. More delicate tasting than sweet. Yeah, yeah. That's a better way to put it. It wasn't what you would consider really sweet, but delicate tasting. Yeah, that's a good description. The grouse are really rare around there, eh, Chuck? We got plenty of grouse up here. I hunt grouse different than other folks. I might go back to hunting them with a shotgun, but usually I just take my 22 long rifle out, and it's all Glenfield Model 60. It's got a scope on it. I take it out and I watch especially the spruce trees in the evening, and them darn grouse will be just stacked up in a spruce tree roosting, and I just start shooting from the bottom up and get my several grouse to bring home and have a good meal. Yeah, sweetbreads. They're okay. They just weren't my real cup of tea, but the sweetbreads were okay. Yeah, Sean Carl, you're up there in northern Minnesota. Great grouse hunting up in that neck of the woods. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you were raising quail and release them when you had your Brittany. Now, so do you just use them for training the dog? Do you actually hunt them? The buddy of mine, he raised pheasants, quail, chuckers. Yeah, we'd go out and release a few dozen and get the dog out there. And oh, he got pretty upset one time. We turned out, I think, 24 pheasants, and he only took 3, and all the rest of them got loose. But they're gone. And I told him, I said, "Well, good for you. You're increasing the pheasant population." Wild boar next to Trinity River in Texas. All the meat on the pig was red. To this day, I wish I could shoot some more, but long ways away. Yeah, that's a long ways away. Oh, yeah, yeah. See, I've only tasted wild boar once, and yeah, I liked it. I It was almost done up like a pulled pork. It had a mild barbecue thing going on. But I had a great big old sandwich of it, and darn yeah, I said, these guys got to shoot them down there just to get rid of them because they're invasive. I mean, they're nasty. They tear everything apart. They wreck the crops. They attack people's dogs. They attack the people, and so they got to shoot them just to get rid of them. But my gosh, if they were to put together a shoot them and feed the hungry program, that'd be the way to go. I mean, a lot of people would love to get their hands on a bunch of that pork. Mostly for the dog, but a few fell. Yep. Yep. Yeah, the rough grouse. Rough grouse, yeah. More to them. That's the way I see it. I've always had more come off of a rough grouse than I have off the partridge. Now here we have mostly rough grouse. Now, and all the locals, God bless them, but they'll probably say, "Oh, Sty, you don't know what you're doing." They don't know. They just don't. What we have mostly in this area are rough grouse, and everything that's a wild bird that runs on the ground up here is a partridge. Yeah. Kendra, well, hello. Way down state from me now. Good to see you, Kendra. Andy K. Hey, Sty, you ever smelled mothballs? We're not. Yeah, there's a story that can go with that, but yeah, see, that's what I noticed too there, Mrs. E, that it didn't have that pork flavor to it. It wasn't gamey. It wasn't gamey at all. It's like it had its own unique taste to it. The texture was like pork. But yeah, it was a unique flavor. Yeah, I miss you too, Kendra. This is the only way I communicate with folks pretty much anymore. I go on Facebook a couple times a week and I try to get likes on people and stuff. And I just don't have the time. Maybe I'll have that time once I'm retired here. How'd you get your nose between your legs, mate? That's what I was saying. There's a story that goes with that. There was a gal in a camp that I was doing, sitting around the campfire, and this big old moth. Oh, it was a big bugger too. It was buzzing us around the fire. Of course, the fire attracts all the moths, and that moth made a beeline across the top of that fire and right for her and smacked her right in the mouth. And she didn't like it when I asked her. I said, I've never gone there, but I said, what do mothballs taste like? All right, that's it. There we go. In New Brunswick, rough grouse is the birch partridge. Yep. Birds. And let's eat birds. You're just making me so hungry. Hike with Mike. Good to see ya. Good to see you, buddy. How's it going down there in Florida? Oh, Andy, that's a bet you're going to lose. Too much time on my hands. Ain't happening. Guarantee you, ain't happening. I've had bouts in my years where I was unemployed for an extended period of time. Never a boring minute. This old boy ain't gonna. I tell you what, I could be flat broke, stuck at home, ain't a thing I can do about it. I'll grab my day pack, I'll put it on, and if I got to hike through a 10,000 population town to get to the outskirts, to get out in the woods, I will, to keep myself busy, occupied, and happy. That's one thing I've been a firm believer my whole life. I don't care if you're working or not. You need an occupation. You need to occupy yourself. You have to occupy yourself every day. So, Andy, that's a bet I'd take with you. I'm not going to be looking at, oh, I got so much time on my hands. No. I actually am probably going to be saying, I don't have enough time. I don't have enough time to get this in. I don't have enough time to go on that camp. I don't have enough time to go over there. One thing I do know is I ain't going to have enough money. So I'll have to be doing a lot of cheap thrill stuff, but yeah. Heading out to the swamp with your buddies in the morning. Sounds like fun, Mike. I know how you love it out there. Yeah. I love Hike with Mike's little swamp talks. They're great. They're great. And the way he just wants to get out, get away from the rest of us, and get out there and just let his mind relax, let his body relax, and enjoy just being there. I got to put a plug in for Hike with Mike on that one. It's great. I almost hit a couple dozen turkeys today. I'll have to post a video later. Where were you at there, Running Water? I seen a bunch of turkeys the other day, just not too far out of town here. There was about 14, 16 of them maybe. Good sized flock. And I let Joe at our local medicine shop. He's a turkey hunter. Let him know where I saw him. Told him where, and I've been seeing them there for months. That's definitely their home territory in there, and a lot of public land. He can get out there and he can hunt himself some nice gobblers there. Everyone I know who is retired has looked forward to it so much, and then when they get there, within 3 months, they wonder how they had time to go to work, but somehow feel like they got too much time. Oh, I sure hope I don't feel that way. I'm going to be optimistic that I'm going to feel plenty occupied. See, with me, and I'm an odd bird. I'll admit it. If I would have to be disabled to the point where I couldn't even do this, and as long as my mind is good, my mind is clear, and I can be somewhat functional, Sty will occupy himself. Hike with Mike. Cities suck and are boring. The woods keep you active and always something to do. Absolutely. Yeah, Chuck, I so agree with you. How about I bet you one of these might be the only modern folder I can find that might fit your hand properly. I'm going to have to check that link out. My I can hope that it's functioning. It'll let me take a peek at what you're talking about here. Oh my Lord. Andy, that oh man, before I bet something like that, I'd skip the bet and save the money and buy one of them for myself. Anybody wants to go look at that link at that knife, you're going to just drool. Andy. Norfolk, Nebraska. Oh, them turkeys won't keep it until you get home. Work a summer job just to get some free time. See, now that's one thing I know with several people I know that are retired. They have part-time jobs because they need the occupation. They need they need to get away. They need to get away from their daily life because their retirement routine is such that it actually becomes like a job. So they get a job and it feels like they're getting away to go to work. They're getting some free time. They're getting a chance to socialize, do something different, relax, which sounds just totally foolish, but it is so true. I've seen so many people that felt that way. Like with Mike says, the wild boars have been tearing up the yards in my neighborhood. My neighbor has a huge boar cage trap set up in his backyard. Wow. Boy, those things can be nasty. Well, I'm glad we don't have that issue up here yet. But they say, I mean, it's you look at the maps of how wild boars are progressing throughout the country. They adapt too darn well. I mean, look at Europe. I mean, the wild boars in Europe, they don't give a hoot that it gets 40 below. So if we can't control them, eventually they will see them up in the North Country, I think. Andy K says, as long as my mind is good and clear, I'd say you just about had it then, mate. Yeah. Well, Chuck says he's been retired for 8 years and never missed work a day yet. Good for you, Chuck. Good for you. Good for you. See, and here's the key for me. I spent almost 3 years, well, 2.5 years, going on 3, out at Camp WTF, doing wilderness instruction and living virtually about 80% off grid. I loved it every single day. I didn't regret a single day. I loved every day. Even when I had no clients, there was always something to do. And if there wasn't, there was always something I wanted to do. And none of it ever felt like a burden, And there was no true paycheck attached to that 2.5 years. Sty wasn't making nothing. I was just living, and I loved it. Okay, let's get going here. Mr. Z says, I love to pig hunt and deer hunt. Wish I had pigs around. If we had them, I'd be out there hunting them. Okay. Yeah, Andy. Sounds good. Oh, the huckleberries, Andy. No, they don't grow here. Now, there's a lot to a huckleberry. If you go to the south, you go south, they have what we call a bush blueberry that they call huckleberries. And they're nice, big blueberries, big. But they're not the same as the huckleberries I'm talking about. The huckleberries I'm talking about, they grow on a much shorter plant. They don't get tall like a big I got these notifications popping up, but they don't grow in a big tall bush. They grow in a very low bush and it's kind of spread out, and kind of like the blueberries up here in Wisconsin, northern Minnesota grow. They're a low-lying bush. They're not tall or big. And the huckleberries I'm talking about, you will only find those in the Pacific Northwest. Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Montana, northern Wyoming, that region. That's the only place you're going to find those particular huckleberries. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Hike with Mike says, my job has a lot of mental stress. I am toast by the end of the day. 9 more years till retirement. Can't wait. I will savor every moment. Hike with Mike. You've only got 9 years till retirement. I watch you on your videos. You look like a younger buck than that. Good for you. Good for you. And I hope these 9 years go smoothly for you without incident, and you reach that goal and you can just hang out in the swamp every moment you want. Kendra Shields saying, running water, remember thimbleberry jelly on toast in Montana? Yeah, they went out to Montana and they visited. Running Water ran out there with Kendra, and they visited the old home place and my old neck of the woods out there, and they had a pretty good trip. Yeah, Gary, wild boars in Michigan. Now, I had read something about that a few months back, that they're into Michigan. Andy says, I'm only 54, and this June 30th will be my 10th anniversary of my retirement. Wish it was because I won the lottery, though. I feel for you, Andy. I really do. Yeah. Yeah. Wouldn't it be sweet to win the lottery and you retire just because you can? Not because you have to retire. You just need it so bad. Not because circumstances forced you into retirement. Not because you're so darn old you just can't do it anymore. But it'd be so sweet to have the resources to say, I'm going to retire just for the heck of it. I don't need to work. I just retire. That'd be sweet. Yeah, just straight thimbleberries. Hey, that's bushcraft jelly right there during season. I've done the same thing up here with red and black raspberries. Take them, I put them in a small container, mash them all up, throw some bannock in a frying pan, cook it up over the campfire, and just spread them fresh, sweet red and black berries on there like jam and eat it. Doesn't keep. You got to eat it the day you make it, but yeah. Yeah. If I had them local, I'd probably do some huckleberry picking just to round off the income a little bit. Project money. Hike with Mike says my family genes are late bloomers. Luckily, we age well. Yeah, I see. It's odd because in my family, on both sides of my family, we had early passers and the long livers. My grandmother lived to 97. My mother lived to 90 or 91. I guess my grandmother's mother would be my great grandmother. She lived to her mid 90s. I've lost two siblings that they passed away at about the age I am right now. They're older siblings of mine, early 60s. And I don't know. I don't know whose genes I've got, but I know this has been a long winter because my jeans are getting a little too tight. Sty's got to get out on the trail. Yeah, I got to burn some of this stuff off. Work doesn't do it for me. I'm on my feet my whole shift, just boom, 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 all over the place. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I can't burn any weight off. I just stay right where I'm at. A little too chubby. Okay. Don't look. Yeah. Andy, you're so right. Oh, well, hike with Mike. I'm going to jump up there. Oh, boy, I missed a couple of things here. Mr. Z says, I have many relatives over 90, but can't see me living that long. I tell you what, folks, I can't see me living the next week. So I'm going to enjoy today and hopefully tomorrow. I mean, don't make it. I'm not going to get crazy and make too long a term plans. Yeah. Hike with Mike said yes, but be careful. With more money comes more troubles. That's so true. That's so true. That to me, money's like the old saying with smoking. Smoke them if you got them. Spend it if you got it. Some of my happiest times throughout life has been when we were down and out and didn't have the money. You made do with what you had, and that allowed me, without the money issues, where I just had to spend. Then I could put that out of my mind and concentrate more on enjoying life with what I had rather than trying to figure out how to spend the money I earned. Don't need to live like a king. Yep, just without worries about money. That's the truth. Kendra, that thimbleberry jam was awesome. The trip was a blast, even though we had some comical moments. Oh yeah, that's true. Comical moments, gotta have those. Plain Chuck says I was 61 when the mill closed down and retired me. I had my heart attack the year before, so it was an easy decision for me. Yeah, that's one of those deals where sometimes the decision's made for you, isn't it, Chuck? And then it. That was me. I mean, I spent the 2.5 years semi-retired, loving it. Then I had that dang heart attack. And after that heart attack, I told myself, I said, I do not want to go back to work. I just do not. And I ended up going back to work. And now I've been working for 2.5 more years and finally get to retire, actually retire. But I was ready to retire when I had my heart attack. I was definitely ready. Okay. Running Water says, turns out a cavalier doesn't climb mountains well. I learned it was worth a try from Sty. That's, yeah, and that's going back to the video. That's as far as she goes. That's as far as she'll go. Yeah. Old Sty trying to drive up a mountain that wasn't made for a family car. Mother Nature, this is from Andy. Chuck, Mother Nature dictates when we really retire, mate. When she says stop, one way or the other, man, you do as you're told. Yep. Well, you guys are talking faster than I can read. Kendra says, so it's Sty's fault when you guys drove that car up the mountain. Yeah. Go ahead, blame me. What the heck? I don't care. What are you going to do? Fire me? And that's what I keep telling them at work. Sty, you can't be doing that. I go, what? What are you going to do? Fire me? I had a district manager tell me, we're going to write you up if you don't start doing that this way. I said, oh, well, so what? And she said, that'll go on your job recommendation, I said, I'm not applying for nothing the rest of my life. Write me up. You think I care? She goes, well, you can't be talking to me like that. I said, what are you going to do? Fire me? They wouldn't do me the favor. Yeah, Mrs. E says, Donnie, you got to go faster. See, I thought of that on that road that I got hung up on with my car. I thought, well, if I would have known the conditions, I was within maybe a half a mile of the top. Now at the bottom, if I would have hit that grade, doing about 50, I think I would have crested the top of that. I would have probably made it. But probably it's pretty dangerous when you got your wife and 4 little ones in the back seat. Yeah. Andy says money is a tool, same as a screwdriver. Can use it for good or bad. Sadly, most of those I know with plenty of money, they've changed for the worse. That's it. I mean, I've seen money hurt people a lot. I came into a chunk of money and I invested it on long-term sustainable things that I will need to get me through to my funeral. And I helped out a few people. Couldn't help out a lot, but I helped out a few people. And that money's gone. It was a nice windfall, but that money's gone. And I came into that windfall a little over a year ago. And I've had people say, well, don't you have that money left? I said, what I do have left is for my funeral. The rest of it I put to good use and got it out of my hands so that I wouldn't put it to bad use. So, yeah, that's just the way I am with money. Okay. Yeah, running water saying it doesn't help when we had 600 pounds of gear crammed in the car. 4-cylinder, not many horses. Yeah, you're not supposed to overpack that pack string, you know. Joe Cook says, been retired almost 6 years. All I do is fish and hunt. Oh, you poor baby. I feel so bad for you, Joe. Andy says, Joe sounds to me like there's a little point in you. There is little point in you ever dying and going to heaven. You're already there by the sounds of it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, I always said that too, is if I die and go to heaven, I'm going to have to ask, can I get an occasional furlough so I can go back and do some camping, hunting, and fishing? I don't know how well that's going to go over, but Hike with Mike says, I dislike administrators. I have found all they are interested in is moving up the ladder and treat you like a medieval serf. I have to agree with you, Hike with Mike. For 23 years, I rode the top of the ladder. I was the top dog. There was one time I had 200 people directly under me. 93 of them direct supervision. And they used to, because they were so used to bad administrators and bosses, people up the ladder from them, they'd see me come to the work sites where we were at, and they would say, oh, here comes the big money. Yeah, there's the top dog. There's the big money. He don't care about us. Well, I walked it in. I pulled all 93 of them people together into a conference room and said, okay, I got something for you guys. I pulled a sheet of paper out and I handed first guy in the front of the room. I said, I want you to take a look at that. I don't want you to say a word. I just want you to keep passing it down. I want everybody in this room to see that. And I'll talk while you're looking. And when they got done, you could hear a mouse fart in that room. What it was the copy of my pay stub. Every single one of my people got paid more per hour than I did to administer it and guarantee them the job they had. And why was that? It was because I'm not their king. I'm not their jail master. I was there to lead them to complete a job. And I was getting paid good money. It may not have been as good as the people that worked for me, but I got paid good money and I was happy with the money I made. But they didn't realize in that sense, I'm anti-establishment. I don't like the guy at the top because the guy at the top always forgets what it is to be the guy on the bottom. And I've been on the bottom. I worked the bottom. I worked it for years and years and years. And when I ended up on top, I always brought myself to the bottom. And I'd go to a work site. I'd pick up a shovel. I'd pick up a hammer. I'd jump on a backhoe and dig a trench. I could not treat those people less than I wanted to be treated. No way. And that's what I think Hike with Mike is getting right to the point on that. That they're interested in moving up and treat you like you're a serf. That's where I'm at right now. That's why I never mention who my employer is, and I won't until after I'm retired, because that's an immediate termination with the firm I'm with. If I mention anything negative at all about the company, but even lower management, yeah, they could care less. You're just one out of millions, so we don't care. We don't care if you like it or not. Okay. Um, Canoe Hound, hey! I've been checking the chat out, and I miss it. Canoe Hound snuck in the door. Good to have you here. Great to have you here. Plain old Chuck's already got his name on his stone. Just need a date. Hey, Chuck, I think I got one over on you there. I already bought my urn. I'm going to be cremated. I already bought my urn. I don't understand why if a person's going to be cremated, why don't they buy their own urn? I don't want to live in a house I didn't pick. I don't want somebody picking where I'm going to live. So I picked my own urn. It's a really nice one, cherry wood, hand carved. It's pretty. I really like it, and I'm hoping that my boys will share me because that my boys are going to be living together, and that maybe they'll put me in the living room or something. I don't know. But here's the scoop. I checked into what it's going to take for me to get cremated. Outside my apartment window, about 150 feet across the road is a crematorium. And I'm at the right spot on our building, and I'm way up. I'm on the fourth floor, 50-some feet off the ground. I can see the chimney of that thing, and so I know when they're cooking someone. But so when I checked into the price to get myself cremated, all the front end costs and all the tail end costs, so that my boys just get a box with me in it, they said, well, here's the total price. And I'm looking at it and it's itemized. And I go, well, what's this $175 transportation fee? And they said, well, that's to come to your place, get the body, and bring you to the crematorium. I said, no, you don't. I said, you knock that down to $35. And they said, no, it's 175. I said, I want it stipulated in that agreement that it's 175 if I die in a hospital or way out in the woods somewhere or something like that. But if I die at home, it's $35. And he said, no, we don't do it. I said, you will, or I'm not going to do it. I'll find somebody else. And he said, what makes you think it's only worth $35? I said, all you got to do is open this living room window, pitch me out the window, and I'll land within 50 feet of your back door. And then you can just drag me in the back door. I said, it'll take you 15 minutes for $35. He said, okay. He said, if I die at home, well, he didn't go with 35, 50. He said, if I die at home, he'll only charge $50 because it's so close. And he says, now, do you want a nameplate put on your urn? I said, no, I'll do that. I got a Sharpie. I'll write my name on it. I don't need they want $40 for a little brass plate with your name on. I use a Sharpie. Andy K says, "What do you mean, Sty? Is that you like stick it to the man, and you just don't like being the man? Shotguns not included." Hike with Mike, plain old Chuck. This is what I want on my gravestone. Expiration date, expired, and the date. And that's now it makes total sense. When where is it here? Canoe House says I prefer the best before date. Best Buy. Oh gosh. Running Water says I've always had a policy. I won't ask someone to do a job I'm not willing to do myself. The only time I will ask a person to do a job that I'm not going to do is a job that I know personally I cannot do. And that's why I hired them. And see, everybody that worked with 23 years, mind you, hundreds of employees I've seen that I went through personally hiring them. I've only fired 3 because I picked the best from the beginning. I picked the right ones right from the start. And they all know. If I can do the same job they're doing, I'll be there and get my hands dirty with them on many occasions to show them that I am not above that. I'm not above that work that they have to do, and that I appreciate how hard it is for them to actually do their job. They know that, or they know that I make it clear to them, I'm hiring you to do a job I cannot do. I am depending on you to do your best in your job because I cannot do it. And it always was successful. It was always, it's that mutual respect in the workplace that goes a long ways. Yeah, Canoe Hound that's how far behind I got. Saying that it was nice to see me. Just got back from dinner with Mrs. Canoe Hound. Oh, dinner sounds good. You should. It's a good thing you had your dinner because earlier that's all they talked about was food, 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 driving me nuts, making me just hungry as mad. Hey, Chuck bought his spot 25 years ago. He likes to plan ahead. Yeah, my mother had her spot for over 50 years. Yeah. Canoe Hound. I like that. He's talking to Running Water, and it says that's how I feel in my business. In fact, I do most of the crap jobs and semi-dangerous jobs myself. That was a habit of mine too. Was I always, hey guys, step aside. I'm going to take care of this. I don't want to put you in harm's way. Or it's like, hey, that's nasty. I'll take care of that. It's that's below you guys. You guys, no, you don't need to do that. I'll go take care of it. It makes you feel good to have that frame of mind with your workers. Yeah, I quit Mike. That's pretty good. See, now we got to watch it up. I know in our neck of the woods, cemetery plots, not like my folks, my parents, they're in a privately owned cemetery. They have those plots have auto-renewing term. You purchase it on a 99-year term. They automatically roll over another 99 years. However, it is stipulated that in the event that the graveyard becomes overpopulated, that they can relocate you to a new cemetery. But they can only do it once you hit that 99-year mark, and then it rolls over another 99 years. That's the kind of stuff I don't like. That's why I'm being cremated. People can haul me around, sell me in a garage sale. I don't know. Whatever they do with Sty's old ashes when I'm dead and gone ain't bothering me. Hackenra. Oh, you guys are just talking faster than I can keep up. Okay. Hike with Mike says, I work for an American-owned company. It was bought out by a Japanese company. The very first day they took out the special parking spots for the bosses and managers, got my respect right away. Oh, yeah, that'll do it. Gary Irwin says he'd probably be late for his own funeral. That's me. That's me. I've had a few people tell me I need to make a video and get it posted and just have it so that one of my boys can jump on my channel and just make it public for when I croak. Because of the fact I'm being cremated. I don't know. I told them don't even have a funeral. You don't have to have a funeral. I'm sorry, folks. I know a lot of people have their own personal feelings about that whole death process and stuff. But to Sty, and nobody can ever, and people have tried. And I mean, I've had friendships almost break up because of people's insistence of how wrong I am. Funerals are for the living. I never seen a dead guy enjoy a funeral. Nope, haven't done it. The closest was an Irish funeral I attended. That dead guy seemed close to enjoying that one. But no, funerals are for the living. They're not for the dead guy. So I could care less if you want to have a funeral or not, because I ain't paying attention. I could care less. If you have the need, go ahead. Leave me out of it. Yeah, someone getting hurt on your dime. Yeah, I know how that is. Yeah, that buried at sea, the way they do it, designated areas. That's dumb. That's dumb. Now, my brother, his ashes were sprinkled over a section of national forest. And there's a story that goes with that I don't want to go into because of his dear family. But I'm glad that's where he ended up. I am very glad that's where he ended up. But there's some issues about it that I just like, oh, yeah. I want to be farther back in the woods. Farther back in the woods. If they're going to dispose of my ashes, I want it way out in the woods. I've got a list of places I wouldn't mind that happening. But Running Water says he's going to make Sty snow globes out of my ashes. Available on Amazon and eBay. Hey, you can give me some of those royalties up front. You can hit the super chat and say, advertise your snow globes. If you're going to advertise snow globes, running water, you hit the super chat and do it. I'll take your wrench away from you. But I have to say, that's pretty. It could be, that little gift you gave me with the picture? You could put that in the snow globe. Or you could have a little figurine done with a lean-to at the Sty Ashes. Yeah, you might be able to make some money off me yet. Joel Cook says, well, Sty, I have decided that I am never going to die because as some of the guys have said here, I'm already in heaven. Yeah. See, that's kind of the way I feel on my passing. If I have any control whatsoever, I will pass doing something I totally love doing. So it'll be an easy passing. I'll just transition right in. And I see death as that's the next ridge. I want to see what's over that ridge. I don't want to see it soon, but that'll be the last ridge I go over. And it's just another adventure for old Sty. Andy says over in the U.S., do guys' toilets need you to put 10 cents in it or let you in UK? Most do. Okay. There are pay toilets in the U.S. I've been to several places with pay toilets, not for a 10-cent piece. The highest I've seen, I believe, was 75 cents. Usually they're a quarter, $50. Can't tell me that. I'm sorry for the language, but you can't tell me that shit isn't worth something. Hey, Plano Chuck says I'm leaving a message to post afterwards. It says, "Hey, they have Wi-Fi up here." That's good. That's good. I should do a live stream, an artificial live stream, where it appears to be a live stream, and I'll just say in there, I'm not going to respond to any of your guys' chat. Go ahead, talk all you want, and have it set up as a scheduled live stream and just yak away like this and just tell people it's amazing. It's amazing. They got the same backdrop I use at home, and they got high-speed Wi-Fi up here. I just can't beat it. So we might just keep having Sunday Sty Story Sundays. Okay. Andy says, so when I die, I shall have, here I sit all broken-hearted, paid 10 pence, but it only farted. Yep. Hike with Mike just insist, put your urn on a table with a sign, enjoy the silence. That'd be a good saying to put on it. South-rooted outside outdoors. Thank you for stopping in. Great to see you. Everybody say hi to South-rooted outside outdoors. Everybody's welcome in the Sty Shack. Okay, Canoe Hound says, Sorry, everyone. I need to be on my way. Have a great evening. And it was Canoe Hound. It's great having you here. Thanks so much for stopping in. It was great. Okay, guys, I'm going to get a little bit of the topic out here. The topic for tonight was childhood hangouts. Now, the reason this even came up for my stream tonight was as I was having a chat the last couple of days with some folks, local folks here, and we were talking about when we were kids. Excuse me, I got to do something here. It's been hours. But anyway, we were talking about things that we used to do as kids, just our childhoods. Now, mind you, this was a mixed group of people were having this conversation. There was us old coots in there. There was some middle-aged folks, and then there was the young bloods. There was about 7 of us chatting away, talking about our childhood days. Well, then we got on favorite childhood hangouts and got to thinking about that. Where did we prefer to hang out when we were kids? Okay. Now, we lived in a quaint little town. It was almost like my dad used to say, this is Mayberry, RFD, with a half a dozen bars and one church. Quaint little town. That town had a population of less than 1,500 people. And it covered a quite significant area. The town was about 7-8 miles long and about 2 miles wide. And we were surrounded by water. Lake Minnetonka surrounded us. Now, that quaint little town, we had a street that was called Skunk Hollow. They call it Skunk Hollow because during the Depression era, those were all pubs down that street, generally all pubs. And skunks would come in there because they'd throw their trash right outside the pubs. And they had so many skunks in there that they just got this nickname of Skunk Hollow. Oh, I'm going to say one more thing before I finish that. Hey, if you haven't yet, hit the thumbs up for me, would you? Those thumbs up go a long ways for my channel. And if you want to know when I'm going live again, hit that bell notification. And you're only going to see the bell if you're subscribed. So thanks, guys. So anyway, Skunk Hollow had all these bars down Skunk Hollow on one side of the road. And that side of the road had the lakefront. On the other side of the road, we had a hardware store and like a boat repair place. And doggone it, I can't remember what the other store was. There was some kind of store. But that hardware store was built back in the Depression days, pre-Depression. Well, those were the days when you didn't have big trucks hauling goods, didn't have tractor trailers like we got today. The front of the hardware store had its loading dock was the front of the store. So it had this big section that was jutting out from the front of the store with a set of stairs that went up the center, and on each side it was a loading dock. And what they would do is they would pull the trucks up typically sideways to that loading dock and unload the goods for the hardware store. Well, that was a favorite place for us kids to go and hang out. Now, I'm talking when we're little guys, we're between the ages of 6 and 10. You hang out there and you just sit there, legs hanging over the edge of that loading dock. And they didn't deliver freight off of those docks anymore. Now they go around back and they deliver them through the back big overhead doors because they added a new section of the hardware store. So the front was there for us kids. We just sat on the front. And the only problem is about 3 blocks up the road, there was a little mom and pop grocery store. But that's outside of Skunk Hollow. That's up the hill and outside of Skunk Hollow. Down in Skunk Hollow, it's nothing but bars, nothing but pubs. Well, there was one right across from the hardware store, Don and Babes. And I can remember as a kid sitting on that loading dock wall and thinking, boy, oh boy, I got some money in my pocket. It's burning a hole in my pocket. I'm going to run over to the Don and Babes bar and buy me a bottle of Coke. You know, those little bottles they used to have. And I could get a bottle of Coke over at the pub, and he charged me 10 cents for that bottle of Coke. And if I brought the bottle back, he'd give me a nickel back. So what I would do is I'd run in there and ask for a bottle of Coke. Well, old Don that ran the place, he was adamant that you do not come in my bar unless you're with an adult, with a parent, or you're of drinking age, period. No ifs, ands, or buts. Old Sty could go in there. My pop was the chief of police. So I strut in there, but he did have some rules for me. There was only one bar stool I could sit at, and that was right at the front door, right at the end of the bar. But that was the bar stool I wanted to be at, because right at that bar stool was this big old gallon jug full of pickled eggs, pickled gizzards, and these pickled sausages. And that's where the pop cooler was. So I go in there and I'd say, "Oh, Don, I want a bottle of Coca-Cola. I want one for me and each of my buddies out there." And there'd be 4 or 5 of us sitting out there. And I'd whip out my 50 cents for the bottles of Coke. And he'd hand me a bowl. And he'd say, "If you boys want any pickled eggs, gizzards, or sausages, grab one for each of you." So I'd come running across with an armload of bottled Cokes and a bowl full of pickled eggs. And us boys would sit on that hardware loading dock, drinking ice cold Coke, eating pickled eggs, and talking about everything we're going to accomplish in the world. All our dreams, what we're going to do, what we're going to do this afternoon, what we're going to do tomorrow, what we're going to do 50 years from now. And it was one of my favorite hangouts as a kid, was to just sit on that loading dock, drink ice cold Coke, have a pickled egg or pickled sausage, the occasional gizzard. And just the fact that old Don, knowing that my pop was the chief of police, would allow me to come in there and get those things for me and my buddies, made that hangout that much more meaningful. So that was one of my favorite hangouts. Another one that kind of came to an abrupt end was the local barbershop. That was located in Skunk Hollow also. Down at the end of all these bars, we had, I say all these bars, actually Skunk Hollow. Oh, that's what was on the other side of the road by the hardware store, was Ruth's Cafe. That was an awesome cafe. But on the lakeside, there was only 3 bars. There was Don and Babes, which was an old-fashioned bar, just like you're in Nashville. The honky tonks in Nashville that are long, narrow buggers. I mean, they could be a couple 100 feet long, but narrow. And that's the way Don and Babes was built. Next to Don and Babes were two large clubs right on the lake. There was the Downbeat and the Lakeview, and big clubs. Drew thousands of people to those clubs on weekends. The weekends were nuts. Us kids never hung out down in Skunk Hollow. Anytime from 5 o'clock Friday evening right up until Sunday morning, you stayed out of Skunk Hollow. If you were a kid, you didn't go down there. Pretty rough neighborhood. But the barbershop, I started hanging out at the barbershop. Now, this is terrible. Sty is terrible. I mean, yeah. It was routine. I had to go to the barber every couple of weeks or so. And I always got heinies, not crew cuts, heinies, right down to the scalp. Well, my pop one day decided the boy's old enough, he starts getting a flat top. So they're going to give me my first crew cut. My dad pulls up with the squad car, drops me off at the barbershop. I go on in. The old barber, Ben was his name. Old Ben, he says, your pop told me that you get to have a flat top now. And I said, yeah. And he says, that means you're growing up. Well, he already had a guy in the chair, and there were two old guys sitting by the front window. And he says, sit down there. And I sat down in one of the chairs. And he walks over and he throws a magazine to me. And he says, there's a magazine for you while we're finishing this guy up, and then you're next. And so, okay. Well, I was 11 years old. I opened that magazine up. My chin hit my chest. I started shaking. And I turned the pages a couple times. I just shook some more. And then I got to a page where it was just writing. And I thought, I'll just read. Here he had thrown a Playboy magazine in my lap. I'd never seen one of them dang things. Well, now I did. At the barbershop. He gets me in the chair. And he's yakking away about how I'm going to have this nice flat top, blah, 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 good crew cut. And by the time he gets all done, he walks around and he smoked these fancy little cigars. He hands me a cigar. He says, that's for being such a champ, coming in here, getting your first man's haircut. And he says, here, let me light that up for you. He lit that cigar up for me, and I sat there and I was puffing on that dang thing. And them old boys that were sitting in there, they're going, that kid is smoking that thing. Well, of course, he give it to me. I'll smoke that thing. I've never smoked before. That was my very first smoke. I didn't smoke again until I was 12 years old, more than a year later, after my pop passed away. But it got so that I became a regular at the barbershop, and I would be sitting there with them old boys, and we'd talk about anything and everything. Boy, we talked about everything. I learned a lot from them old boys. Really did. I kept my nose out of them dirty magazines them old boys had laying around. And I never had another cigar. It was offered to me a couple times, but never had another one. But the word got out. Somebody told my pop, yeah, your boy, one of the old guys that were in there had told my pop. Now, this is months later. Had told my pop, yeah, your boy really loved that cigar and that dirty magazine he got to read when he got his first flat top haircut. That's it. That put the end to me going to the barber shop alone. After that, my pop would take me down there, and he'd sit and BS with all them old guys while I got my haircut. And then once I'm done, out in the squad, take me back home. No more hanging out at the barber shop. But that was a childhood hangout I really got a kick out of. Okay, I'm going to take a look at this chat and try to catch up a little bit with you guys. Joe Cook, I was wondering when you're going to light up. Hey, I'm determined to break that habit and go back to strictly smoking pipe. And hopefully, Running Water said he's going to get me a vape. Hopefully I can do that. Hopefully I can do that. Kendra says, damn, I'm annoyed that I've missed all these live streams so far. Thanks, Facebook and YouTube, LOL. Kendra, it's great to have you here. It's great to have you here. I almost missed getting these posted to Facebook tonight. Getting this one posted. I was just in a panic. I'm going, oh my gosh, I got 15 minutes before I'm going live. I got to get this on Facebook. So I'm glad I made it. I'm glad I made it. And I'm glad you made it, Kendra. Oh my God, Syed, you badass. Andy, good on you, Sty. Take a long, deep draw for me, mate. I just had to. It had been hours. I gotta quit doing that though. Andy says, my ideal hangout, if you'd call it that, load my camping gear in the sailing dinghy, head up the estuaries with my fishing rods, digging fork and some food, water, bliss. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. And that's what I put in my description is hopefully I can get some of these favorite hangouts that you guys had as kids out of you guys. See, now I had one like that too. There was a spot on the lake. You never saw anybody there. And it was a tiny little inlet that came in, and there was a cove. And there were no houses built around where that cove was. And it was these huge cottonwood trees all around that tiny little cove. And you could go in there and catch sunfish that were just plate size. They were monsters, just thick. Oh, awesome sunfish. And you could bottom fish for some of the biggest stinking carp you ever seen in there. And I wouldn't share it with my buddies. That's where I'd ride my bike down there with my fishing gear and my little backpack and my little pup tent. And I'd camp out for a night or two right on that little cove and just fish and just have a blast. And it was a great place for me to hang out. And then for a couple of years, I had a few friends that I'd tell them, hey, come on, let's go down to that cove. And they come hang out with me. And he says, you roll your own or buy TaylorMades? What I smoke, it's going to be Super Flash. Super Flash. They're Supreme Menthol cigars. They're a mentholated cigar. And they're cheap. And I love them. I can't smoke a regular cigarette anymore. They put so much crap in them cigarettes now. And when I smoke them, I'm not kidding. I can taste it. I smoke a cigar, even a small miniature cigar. And I don't get that. I just get that nice tobacco flavor. Yeah. I'm not promoting smoking, folks. Sty hopes you'll kick him out of his place for smoking so he has to live in the woods all summer. Yeah, but I'll freeze to death this winter. Okay. Hike with Mike. I was born in New York City. Oh, yeah, I understand that. But when I was 13, moved to Dunedin, Dundon. See, I'm not good with pronouncing nothing. Florida. There were several empty spoil islands offshore, and we would canoe to them, and we would have tropical island all to ourselves, fishing all day. Oh, love it. Love it. That's great. Okay, this is my last one for the night. Okay. Yeah. Would have loved some of that, Andy says to Mike. Yeah, I agree. Mr. Z, I know his subconscious angle, but the video evidence shows he's in the woods if I don't wear my glasses. There is woods behind him. I got to bring the outdoors in. As much as I can. Okay. Let's move down here a little bit. Kendra Shields says, by the way, loving the Sty Shack woods behind you, although it will never compare to the real Sty Shack. Yeah, I miss the real Sty Shack, and I'm sure you remember it. It was pretty awesome, wasn't it, Kendra? Yeah, Andy says, could be fun watching Sty trying to get some wood for a fire, though, Kendra. That's when they'll be throwing my butt right out of this place. Sty went back there and gathered up a bunch of wood and got himself. They see a live fire going in this forest back behind me. I'm out of here. Kendra says, Sty will adapt. Try as much as I can. Andy, yeah, you got to look at what you're typing. Sty, even when he's looking, he can't type worth a damn. Sean Carl, he hasn't said much. So we're listening to Sean now. We had a fishing spot as a kid. It was called the Naked Tree because of it having no bark on it, and we used to catch catfish all day long. Then we'd grill them over our campfire. Great times. Oh, man, does that sound like a great time. Joe Cook says, my favorite hangout when I was a kid was with my grandfather at his camp. He taught me so much about the outdoors. Now, I have to say, until my granddad passed away, that was my favorite hangout. He had 2 Adirondack chairs in our backyard. He lived in a cottage that we owned on the property, and he'd come out and sit in one of those Adirondack chairs and spend almost the whole day outdoors. Him and our dog. And I'd go down there and I'd grab that other chair and I'd pull it up right in front of him, and I'd sit there and just be amazed at the wisdom and the information that old boy had and just listened to him all day. I just loved it, loved it. And he was getting pretty up there. He was in his late 80s. And boy, he'd drag himself out of that chair and he'd say, "Come on, boy, I'm going to show you how to do a proper fire lay, or I'm going to show you how to properly use that knife you got, or I'm going to show you how to use this hatchet." And so he always made sure I got my hands dirty in those lessons. But what a hangout that was. And it was too short. It was too short-lived. Old boys like that, they're worth gold, folks. People that ignore old people, like, oh, they're old senile, old farts, you don't need to listen to that. Boy, I'll tell you what, then you leave, I'll listen. The wisdom of the past, I call it. Good stuff those old guys had. Mike with Hike says, "Sty, I know you would love this channel. Campfire Steve, he is my buddy. And his channel is similar to mine, and I am on it a lot too. Great adventures. I will check him out. I will check him out. Count on it." Hike with Mike. Andy says it's been about 2 years since his last smoke. And he's got a sad tear face going, "Hey, man. Yeah, I want to be there. I want to be there. I know I'll miss it. That's why I'm probably going to, I probably will never quit. I'll probably smoke to my grave. But I want to get back to smoking my pipe. Because I can still get the enjoyment of the smoke, of the taste. Running Water says his favorite hangout was in the garage tinkering, though it usually led to me getting in trouble. You're in trouble, mister. You're in trouble, mister. You've heard that before, haven't you, Running Water? Old Sty saying, "Hey, son, you're in trouble, mister." But I'll tell you what, the one that usually complained the most wasn't your pop. your mother. "You need to get out there. That kid's tearing stuff apart again." I'll leave him alone. As long as he doesn't lose my wrenches. Andy says, "Pretty much everything I did as a kid led to me getting in trouble for something or other." Yes, sir. I always got in trouble. So did Donnie. My boy, he followed my footsteps that way. Yeah, he couldn't help but get in trouble. I mean, I woke up with trouble on my back, just taking a ride, finding a place to happen. That's the way my days always started. Hike with Mike. I always liked hanging out with older people when I was a kid. Me too. I loved it. I loved it. My mother worked in a nursing home. She worked in that nursing home for over 50 years. When I was a kid growing up, my dad was chief of police, so he's out on patrol all night. And my mother worked graveyard shift at the nursing home. So they didn't have a babysitter, right? My siblings were old enough that they were okay at home, but not me. And they didn't want my siblings watching out for old trouble causing Sty, So my mother would take me to work at the nursing home. And before all them old farts would go to bed, I had to have a chat with every single one of them. I mean, I loved it. I loved the history in that place. And those old people were so lonely. Nobody wanted to listen to them, just give them an ounce of time. And I would just sit there and I was absorbed in what they had to share with me. I loved it. And I'd fall asleep on the sofa out on the porch of that big old nursing home. That nursing home was a huge Victorian house converted into a nursing home. And it had a big glassed in front porch. And it had these sofas out there. And I'd fall asleep on the sofa. And then my pop would wake me up at about 2:30 in the morning and take me home and tuck me in bed because he's off duty. And then he'd go pick my mother up in the morning. But those days with them old folks, oh yeah. Well, first Kendra says, running water says, or no, Kendra said, running water in trouble? No way. And running water says, wait till your dad gets home. Yeah, put it off on me. I wasn't there. And boy, my ex would get mad at me. Did you handle that? Yep. Well, what's his punishment? There's no punishment. Well, why not? I didn't witness what you said he did. I said, it's his word, your word, and my decision. My decision is I told him, I don't know if you did or didn't, but you had better not and let me catch you. Hike with Mike. Oh, wait a minute. Andy says, oh, yes, usually for shooting air guns on land I wasn't allowed on. Last time I went to court for it, I had to ask for 35 other cases to be taken into account. Andy, that's sweet. That's cool. That's good. Hike with Mike says, when I was a kid, I loved Evel Knievel. Jumped many a garbage can with my 3-speed offie bike. I've got some bicycle Sty stories. Yeah, you'll have to wait for them, but yeah, I think Mike, you're gonna enjoy them because yeah, I had my Evel Knievel days too. Mr. Z says, Andy, in Europe, you probably had some good tobacco. Andy K says, Dad was not the scary one in my house. He was always at sea, but get on the wrong side of Mom, and God help you. That was my upbringing. Until I was about 12, maybe 11, if I got myself in trouble, my pop never laid a hand on me all the years. He never laid a hand on me. One time he come real close. But he explained to me when I was just a little tyke, you don't ever want to put me in a spot where I have to lay my hands on you, boy, because it's going to be the worst experience for your whole life. Don't put me there, he said. And he had that look and that tone. You knew it. You don't want him getting his hands on you. Now, I seen him handle criminals. He's a cop my whole life. And I seen how he handled criminals. I seen him take big drunks that were twice his size and give them grown-up spankings that make you have sympathy tears for the guy. So I didn't want my pop touching me. It didn't stop me from getting in trouble. But my pop was one where he'd tell my mother, Betty, deal with that boy, or I'm going to. She knew that she had to dish out a decent punishment on me to satisfy my pop so that he would not ever have to go there. And boy, she could. She could dish it out. She could dish it out good. Kendra says, still pissed I've missed all these live streams from Sty. I've been missing out on a Friday night. LOL. Now, here's the thing, Kendra, and I'll let everybody else know now. I got a dozen people up here, so at least a dozen people know what's going on. My next stream, I got to look at my notes here because I just got my work schedule. Okay, my next live stream is going to be on the 29th. I believe that's a Saturday night. Okay? And it'll be at 7 p.m. Central Time. The stream following that. And if you're available, I hope you all turn out for that stream. That stream is going to be on April 6th. That stream will not even start until 10 p.m. Central Time. I'm sorry for you folks over the pond. I know what that does to you. I know it. But check it out after the fact if you need to. I totally understand. But if I've got 2 or 3 people, I'll be happy on April 6th at 10 p.m. I will come flying in my door. I'm going to have all my gear set up, everything ready to go to fire up the stream. I'm going to post that I'm doing the stream probably 10 hours in advance. That's my last scheduled day of work. I get off work. I drop my keys on the desk. Everything's done. It's a done deal. I clock out for the last time, and I'm hightailing my butt home. I'm going to have myself some snacks to munch on while I do a live stream, and it's going to be Sty's Retired live stream Saturday night. And I'm going to stay on that stream as long as I got somebody that wants to listen to my old fart butt yakking away about how happy I am to be retired the night of April 6th. Because if I sleep in the following morning, I don't care. So that's Sty's future of streams. And oddly enough, that Saturday night, April 6th, the following night, April 7th, that Sunday evening at 7 p.m. will be the first Sty Story Sunday. And from that point forward until the day I die, every single Sunday at 7 p.m., there will be Sty Story Sunday. And I hope to see all you folks jump in if you can. Okay, I got to look at you guys. I just love my chats. You guys are the best. I say that. I know I say that all the time. You are the absolute best. Tonight, I didn't even, and I'm going to do it just to make YouTube happy, I guess. Okay, my channel is family friendly. No harsh, nasty language. Not allowed. I will time you out. I don't go 3 strikes. You get, F-bombs, none of that kind of stuff going on. Gets nasty. I time you out once. Second time, boom, you're booted out of that stream. You're welcome back to the next one, but it's a 2-strike deal. That's all it is. The same goes with hate. You start doing hate speech. You start hating on somebody, telling them, oh, you're stupid, you're rotten, you're this, that. Any of that kind of garbage going on, you get a timeout. Second time, there's not even a warning. I see it a second time, boom, you're booted out of that stream. Same goes with the isms. I've said that before. I'm not going to tolerate any kind of isms. No sexism, no racism, period. No, don't even go there with the racism. None of the isms. No, this ism, that ism. No, and that's got the same rules. One time out, second time you're booted from the stream for that night. Okay? So Sty's just got a little handful of rules. And I haven't had to apply it a single time. I haven't even had to remind somebody, oh, keep it down, keep it down. I got the best people. Okay, now I'm catching up. Okay. Okay. Um, Andy, yeah. Um, oh boy. I got it. Andy says he spent a lot of money on a vape and e-juice stuff. Make my own e-juice, and it saves a serious packet of money. Cough candy flavor. Interesting. Andy K says, how'd you think I feel, Kendra? Starts at midnight for me, and I gotta be up at 4 a.m. tomorrow. Oh my gosh, Andy, man, you are diehard. You are diehard. That makes me feel that much more privileged to just have you on board. Oh my gosh, man. Oh, you do know that you can always come back and catch what's left. You gotta get your sleep too. You gotta. Don't let me hurt you. Uh, and I've been thinking about that I might, because I had said I might do a couple of live streams, odd ones during the month over the summer. And I'm thinking what I might do is make one or two of those the European version, and I'll start them at noon or 1 o'clock here in the US, so that it's a reasonable time for you folks over there in the UK and other places all over there, Norwegians and Swedens, and yeah, I got Swedes, I got Swiss, I got all kinds of folks popping in. Okay. Running Water said, things got really bad when Sty gets home. Here's Ma's report, and Sty accidentally laughs. Uh-huh. I done that. Running Water, you probably remember the time when she told me that she broke her toe because she kicked you in the butt. And then after talking to you, I knew she couldn't have broke her toe from kicking you in the butt. Here she missed you and kicked the rail of the garage door opener. I had to laugh. Oh, I got in trouble. Oh, you're taking his side. I said, no, I'm just laughing because that's pretty darn funny. You actually missed his butt. You kicked that house, you dummy. Mr. Z says, we miss our morning Sty stories. I totally understand that, Mr. Z. When I was doing a Sty story every morning, I was getting the exact same amount of views consistently, but I wasn't getting any after post views. I would get views for the first 2-3 days, and then they'd just stop because people were moving on to the next story and the next story and the next story. And I don't think YouTube, because there were so many stories going out, YouTube was not promoting my stories like they used to. Now that I'm down to 2 videos a week, those videos are gaining. They've gained 40% in views. So YouTube's promoting them more. But we will have Sty Stories Sunday. And the way I'm doing those is like tonight, we didn't even get on the topic until we were into this over an hour. And I think this one's going to go to 3 hours tonight. But what I will be doing with Sty Story Sunday is I'll do a little intro. And once I've got some folks in the house, I get 8 or 10 folks in the house, I'm going to do the Sty Story. We're going to get it started early in the stream. Get it said and done. The Sty Story will probably go anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes long. And then from that point forward, the rest of the stream will be about the Sty Story in chat. we'll talk about it. We'll take that Sty story and rip it apart and have fun with it and talk about other people's experiences that were generally in the same direction as that Sty story. But that way, when my streams are posted, folks that like to just see the story, the Sty story, can pull the stream up, and at the max, they're going to have a half-hour video, and they'll get the Sty story. See what I'm doing? I hope that works out well for everybody. Because then for the folks that can't catch the stream, it's like getting that Sty story anyway. Kendra says, "Oh damn, Andy, it sucks to be you." Andy says, "Nah, great weekend ahead, and probably couldn't sleep because of it anyway. You guys never grow up, you know." No, we don't. And that's the thing is, I'll do that. I'll have a day just planned. I'm so excited. It's my day. I'm going to be doing this. I'm just so excited. I'll be damned if I can sleep that night. Oh, yeah. Yeah. But I still get through that day just fine because I've got so much adrenaline built that I'm ready for it. Even though I didn't get the sleep I should have. Hike with Mike says, Sty, I grew up in a law enforcement family too. So many stories to tell, but not for tonight. I totally understand, Mike. And yes, if you grew up in a law enforcement family, you've got stories to tell. I tell people that all the time. I have people say, "Oh, Sty, I couldn't do what you do." There's nothing ever happened in my life. I don't have any story. Oh, baloney. And I'll fish a little bit, and I'll find out that they had an uncle that was in the service and did something totally surprising or unique. And they'll tell me about it, and I'll go, "You just told me a story. Don't anybody ever tell me that there's nothing in their lives to tell as a story. Our lives are a story. It's an open book, and we're filling that storybook every moment we live." Yeah. Style never run out of stories. I've got 62 years of them. And break those down by 12 months. And when I was real young, you break that down to almost daily. And I had a story about almost every day. Okay. Andy Case says people who ignore the older generations only ever gain wisdom through their own mistakes. Those who listen to the old guys learn by those guys' mistakes. Absolutely. That's why I tell people, learn from what I tell you. All my screw ups through life, all of the hardships, all of the good times. So many of them involve things you don't need to do to experience that stuff. So I try to say, hey, please do as I suggest. Don't do as I did, because there's times I look back and Sty's felt a broken heart many times because folks have copied me and it hasn't gone as well as it did for me. And they're stories, folks. They're not always the best example. So learn from my stories and apply them appropriately with a big helping of common sense. Mike says, "Whoa, that spun up too fast. I lost it. Where did you go? Oh man, I didn't even see paparazzi came into the house. Hey, paparazzi, it's great to see you." Okay, I'm trying to get caught up here a little bit. Oh, wow. Boy, did I fall behind. Um, oh, wow. Okay, Hike with Mike said Dad was a detective in New York City. Lots of big cases and stories. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. 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 Sean says, does anyone remember the old Woolworth stores? We would go and have a soda for a dime. It was fun. Oh, yes. We had a 5 and 10 store. Well, 5 and Dime, it was called. And that's what the name of the store was. It was in the town of Navarre, which was right next to our town. I mean, and from my house, it was maybe a 15-minute hike to Navarre, to that town, little town. And it just had a little main street. And they had the Navarre 5 and Dime store. And that had an old fashioned soda fountain in it. Same way. 10 cents, you go in there and have yourself a nice big actual soda fountain soda. Loved it. Loved it. Us kids would go just line up at that counter. My oldest sister had a crush on the soda jerk at that store. I remember that. Plano Chuck says only got one whipping from my pop, but that was enough. Didn't need two. And yes, I deserved it. I deserved many a whooping from my pop, but I was very, very fortunate that I got it from my ma instead. Hi, with Mike. Sean Carl, there is still one open in St. Augustine, Florida. Oh, I don't know what. Oh, yeah, soda fountains, Woolworths. Yeah, we had one here in Ashland, and yeah, they had the little cafe area, but they didn't have the actual soda fountain. Hike with Mike, Stylands in the stream. That's awesome. That's awesome. I have a couple of people. I've got full lyrics um, that it's a parody to Love Shack, and it's called Sty Shack. And the lyrics are that they're really they're awesome. I like it. And this gal that I know, Running Water would know her, Angie. She lives in Canada now. She's been there forever, but yeah, Angie, she sang it with a friend of hers and sent it to me, and it sounded so cool. It sounded so cool, and um, I did a lot of looking into it. Ain't happening. Ain't happening. I actually lost that recording she sent me. I'm trying to get a hold. I'll get back in touch with her. I'm not trying to get a hold of her. I can get a hold of her. I just have to. Maybe have her do it again for me if she has a copy yet to send it. But um, I looked into it. It's just I wanted to use that for my channel and just do a video. Have some folks get together, some good singers, and do the parody, but it's not considered parody enough. It would be a copyright violation. YouTube won't even let me make it public. So, oh well. Andy says, I saved a kid's life outside our Woolsworth, one in the UK. Came running out and straight in front of a car. Somehow I reached out and grabbed his sweater and hauled him back in the same instant. Wow. Yeah. Right. You were meant to be there, Andy. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. I've had a couple of those incidents in my life where, after the fact, I felt I suffered more than the person that I I ended up being the good fortune to be there for, because I was so shook up knowing that, yeah, a second later that person would have been gone. There's nothing like that, Andy. Good for you. Good for you, man. Wow. Kendra says, I just feel like an outsider here, like a halfwit. Well, if you're a halfwit, then you're double the wit that most of us are. Kendra, you don't feel out of place. No, no, no. No, no. Nobody should ever feel out of place at the Sty Shack. It's a mix of folks. It's a mix of folks. And as the Sty Shack gets more familiar to folks, we'll end up with more of a mix of personality types, and we'll get different types of creators coming in. And nobody, I don't want anybody to feel out of place here. And no question's a dumb question. No, we hear that all the time. But I'm serious. No question's a dumb question. And no comment is a bad comment unless it's the intent of it is bad. See what I'm saying? If you say, oh, well, why would you this or this or this? It's because you're asking because you don't know. Nobody in here should say, oh, well, you dummy. You should know that. No, no. I learn something new every single day. And then you'd have to say, Sty asks a lot of dumb questions, because you betcha I'm going to ask. Because there ain't no such thing as a dumb question. Because Mike says, Sty kicking it old school. Love it. Yep, Sty Shack. It's just a little old place where we can all hang out together. But no tin roof, rusty. No. Not at the Sty Shack, guys. No. I said let's keep it clean. Huh. Andy, I've done that. I know how you feel. I've done the right thing and then got a butt chewing for it. You know? That hurts. That hurts when you realize someone doesn't understand and really appreciate what you've done, and you get a good chewing for it. How dare you lay a hand on my kid? Gary Irwin, Sty draws a line in the sand. Oh, okay. Yeah, paparazzi, it's so great to see you in here. So great. Andy, good comment to Kendra. That's a whole half more than I ever had. Yep. That's why I say everybody's equal in this place. Sean, Andy says, Sean, the boy's neck was red as hell from this sweater where it yanked up his neck. She didn't see what happened, just her little boy crying and me dragging him along the pavement by his sweater. Yeah, the overreactions of a mother's protective nature, you know. Okay, 5-year-old takes on car. 5-year-old is never going to win that one. That's right. Oh, that is too right. Too right. Andy says, Sty, I was in my 20s. I was doing some work at my mom's place and sliced my hand open on a chisel. I swore like a trooper. Mom heard it and she was after me with a bar of soap for me to eat. Yuck. Yeah. Ma, you needed to be there. You eat a bar of Life Boy, Donnie, you blow lots of bubbles, just not out of your mouth. And then Sean Carl says, my mom would say that she'd wash my mouth out with soap, and I'd say I'd blow bubbles out my ass. LOL. Now YouTube's asking me to hide or show that comment. I'm going to show that comment. YouTube, ass is not a harsh word. And in this context, with what we see on channels on YouTube, I watched a couple of videos the other day. F this, F that, blankety blank blank. CS, I'm not, gosh, if I went down that road, they'd probably boot my channel right off of the site. But that channel's got millions of views and it's fully monetized. Fully monetized. And you look at its comments and it's the nastiest garbage you ever saw. So, blow those bubbles out your ass. I'm sorry. I just had to say it. I just had to say it. Yeah, Hike with Mike says that him and Campfire Steve do channel parodies. You might be a victim in the future, Sty. Be kind, Mike. Please be kind. Okay. Andy says, I heard a clever piece of wisdom the other day from my neighbor. There is no racism from the heart of a blind man. Yep, he's blind. Yeah. I mean, blind man, how is a blind man even, if you're born blind, how do you even conceive of racism? But I can see how a blind man can develop a prejudice. If he has something as an identifier to attach to a dislike of a certain group of people, I can see how they could develop a prejudice, but I cannot see how they could be racist if they were born blind. Because racism doesn't start in the heart. It just doesn't. Andy K. Sty Hard. Yeah, thanks. I'd have to look up the tune. It's listed in my description. My intro tune and the exit tune. It's a Celtic. I think it's Kevin MacLeod that does that. But it's in my description. If you hit the show more on the description of any of those videos, down below you'll see the credits for that music. Yeah, it's my favorite. And when I first started using music and I hit on that one, it stuck with me. I stay with it. Running Water says, Sty Hard with a vengeance. Gil Skills is in the house. Oh, hey, buddy, it's good to see you. I saw you in a couple of streams today, buddy. Keeping an eye on you, Gil. Today's been just rough day for Sty, and Sty's just loving it tonight. I mean, for crying out loud, I'm 2.5 hours into this live stream, and I still got 9 people in the house. I'm in no hurry to get out of here. I don't have to be to work until I don't have to leave for work till 3:30 tomorrow afternoon. So I'm gonna do what I want. Like I always said, what are they gonna do? Fire me? Andy K says Sty Hard 4.0, the only stream with no water but plenty of goodness. Yeah, you guys are crazy. With Mike says I learn something new every day too, but when I think about it, I wish I didn't know it. And those are the things. There's things you learn that you wish you never did. You wish you just didn't know that. Too much information. I say that quite often. I've told people many occasions, you didn't need to tell me that. That's just too much information. If you got something to teach me, show me, share with me, that'll make my day feel a little better. Hey, those are the things I want to know. You can tell me a terrible, terrible story about something in your life, or tell me how bad something is. If there's a moral to it and there's a serious good outcome, then I don't mind knowing it. But life is full enough of tragedy that to just tell the tragedy with no end product that is positive, that's more than I need to know. You'll notice with me, like one of my old videos called Tragedy in the Backcountry, that's about my son, Donnie Running Water, that we had a tragic incident out in Montana, but that had a very positive outcome, and there it is. Donnie Running Water is here, well, alive and kicking, and therefore his old Pop Sty. So those are the kind of tragedies I don't mind dealing with. I hope you don't mind, Gil. I gave you a wrench. You know the YouTube community so well, and that doesn't mean you need to be here. You're under no obligation, buddy, at all. But I've only given out very few wrenches for moderators. Folks have been so good policing themselves, and I'm just letting it go at that right now. And I give wrenches to folks that I know that will protect my channel's interests, and protect the great viewers and creators that come and hang out with me. And Gil, you're just one of those guys that, you've earned my trust. I've watched enough of your channel to feel that way. I go with Mike. I should invite my subs to meet up for a weekend and call it Sty Stock. Hey, I know my boy wouldn't let me do it. He's got an awesome 10 acres that would work out great for that. But I've got a few folks that I've kind of invited up to my neck of the woods, and I take them out on some hikes. And I got a couple of spots on public land that you're allowed to camp on it for up to 14 days. So we could do a long weekend, a 3-day weekend, and um, I invite anybody that wants to show up as long as they um, fend for themselves. Bring your own gear, your own food. And now it'd be roughing it. These spots are primitive, so we'd have to establish some backwoods latrine and the sort. So, but I think so. I think we're heading down that road before the summer's up this year. And if it doesn't happen this year, we'll put it into the next year. Gil Skill says, I try to be as positive on my channel and live streams. To be positive on my channel and live streams, but sometimes a spade needs to be called a spade. You're absolutely right, Gil. You're absolutely right. I mean, and I've done it. I've done it here, and I'll tell you what. I've had a few spades that have turned right into hearts because I stepped right on their toes and told them, "Hey, man, if we were out in the woods, I'd be taking you out back of that big white pine and giving you a grown-up spanking. So don't come on my channel and act like an adolescent. Um, we're mature people that love each other's company and love having a good time. Don't come in here and trash it." Um, yeah. Yeah, I was telling the folks earlier, Gills, that my rules are um, no hard foul language. I just approved a comment that had the word ass in it. I couldn't believe that YouTube flagged that one, for a questionable comment. But no hard foul language, no F bombs and the other kind of stuff like that. One warning. I mean, one timeout. I suggest we just tell folks, any of us can tell anybody, hey, you need to tone it down. But if it gets really harsh, boom, they get a timeout. After their timeout, it comes out again. They're bumped out of this stream. They can come back to the next stream, but they're bumped out of this one for the rest of the night. And the same goes with any racist or sexist. None of that stuff going on either. We don't want any of that. And no hate speech. People starting to hate on each other, same thing. They get a timeout, and then you're booted for the rest of the stream. Because I want this stream to always be friendly, family enough that my grandkids can sit and watch this. So that's it. That's Sty's rules. That's all it is, and it's just it's a respectful stream. We all respect each other. We all have differences, but we don't have to hate each other for them. Just respect each other. And he says, give me 6 months to save the airfare, at least one way's worth. Yeah, and I would just love it. I'd love to be able to go your direction too. I've had a couple of folks say, Sty, if you could go anywhere, where would you like to go outside of the U.S.? And I said, the one place, the very first on my list would be Australia. I'd love to go to an Australian homestead or ranch in the outback. I don't want I don't want to hang out in Sydney. I don't want to hang out in any major city. I want to see them, but I want to get. I would love to be in the Australian outback for a week. I'd love it. That'd be like putting 2 layers of frosting on old Sty's cake. But here's the key to that. I don't have a passport. I'd have to order my birth certificate so I could get a passport. And it would have to be on somebody else's meal ticket. No, Sty ain't going to take the little bit he's got just to go see a koala bear. Ain't happening. Okay. Sean Carl says your granddaughter is probably still watching, Sty. That's it. I always assume that I have a young audience viewing me, that they're watching me. And I know their daily life is a lot harsher than what they're ever going to see on my channel. And it's got to stay that way. I want them to come my channel and say, that was enjoyable. I got to listen to these adults chat and talk about all these different topics. And I didn't have the stress and the hate and the screaming, the yelling, the nastiness that normal life gives me. I want kids to be able to come here and say, this is great. Hey, Kendra Shields, good night. Thanks for showing up. Keep an eye on Facebook, Kendra, and you'll know when I'm going live. Yeah, I don't post my regular videos, but I do post my live streams on Facebook. Yeah. Yeah, and anybody that wants, jump over to Facebook. There's a Facebook group called Sty Shack, and you're free to join. You jump on there and join the Sty Shack, and you'll get Facebook notifications of my live streams, and you can post things related to the outdoors on that site. You ask for you go ahead and you ask to be a member, and I guarantee you, me or Cheesehead Chris will give you the thumbs up. Except Cab 7, when he tried to get in the group, Cheesehead wasn't going to approve him. Oh, my Lord. Cab 7. Oh, good to see you, my friend, Sty North. Cab, you did not have to do that. Ben, you are great. And folks, I want you to notice this. Cab 7 just did a super chat, and he's mentioned this for a while now, because people, for some reason, they just love to say bad things about Cab. Okay, now I don't care if a person likes Cab or doesn't like Cab. That's their choice. I don't like someone telling me who I should like or who I shouldn't like. Because if they're doing that, if they pick my friends for me, how am I ever going to be happy in life? BS, that ain't happening. I pick the people I support. Running Water, you just deleted Cab's message. You made an error there. Running Water, I don't know how you can fix that. I'm trying to fix that. No. Running Water, why did you do not time out Cab 7? Not. Yeah, bad. Cab, absolute big apologies. Big apologies. Running Water is operating with 10 thumbs tonight. Yeah. Very big apologies, Cab. Yeah, you got to be very careful on how things are set up. I don't know. I can't remove that timeout. I'm trying to. I don't even know if I can possibly do that. Trying to find it. No. Oh boy. Yeah, running water. I'll sick your mother on you. Oh, my greatest apologies, Cab. Boy, yeah, I don't know what happened there running water, but it says that he was timed out by you and that you deleted his message, his super chat. Yeah, we'll have to try to figure out how that happened, just so that we don't have that happen again. Gil Skills, are you still around? Have you ever seen that happen? And if somebody times somebody out, is there any way for the host to override that? Yeah, and I visit Cab so much that I will message him tonight. I'll see him in a live stream, I'm sure probably tomorrow, and I'll explain to him that, yeah, us new streamers are sometimes screamers. Oh, Lordy. Well, hey, that's the biggest drama you ever see in the Sty Shack. So the it's just that the message was deleted, but I don't think it, because from what I understand, the super chat, once you hit it, it's done. It's a done deal. So poor Cab wouldn't have gotten his bang for his buck. That's what I feel bad for. So I'll say it again. Hey, Cab, you're the best. And that's what what I was trying to say is that in one of Cab's earlier streams, I was in there, and there were people saying, "Oh, he's begging for money and this and that." I've never heard Cab say, "Oh, Cab, great." Yeah, hey, I tell you, I'm tooting your horn, Cab, because you're getting your $10 worth. It was, yeah, and running water is my son, so, and I'm too old and he's too big. I can't give him a spanking. Love him to death, but he's just like his old man. What did I do? Oh, here we go. Yeah, I thought the stick was coming out for Donnie. Yeah, yeah, it'd have to be a pretty long one so I could smack him and run. Hey, that's one thing I can say. And that's one thing Cab really pushes. Well, first of all, I want to go back to Cab made it clear. He made it perfectly clear to people. You don't need to chat or the super chat. You don't need to. He truly appreciates it because he reinvests that money into his relationship with his other creators and viewers. And I see it all the time. People super chat him 10, $20. I've seen some that were larger. And I've seen him in other streams super chatting right back to the other creators. It's coming in and it's going right out the back door. Well, look at that, Cap. There's my boy feeling bad. There he is feeling bad. Oh, I have to read that. Greatest respect for Cab. Love you, man. Yeah. Running Water, you're a champ. Yeah. That boy come out of my loins. Sometimes good things happen. Now, so anybody, and Cam says that's the first time that has ever happened to me on YouTube. LOL. Sort of fun. It wasn't fun on this end. I'm going, oh no. The man just super chatted and his comment got deleted by one of my blue wrenches. And then I looked and oh my gosh, he's on a timeout. Somebody put Cab on a timeout. Oh, and that was the longest 300 seconds I have ever seen. Cab, stop it. Stop. Running Water, Cab, you guys are crazy. You're nuts. You don't know how much I appreciate that. And hey, Joe Cook, it is so great having you here. Every one of my viewers are so terribly valued. Whenever I see you pop in, it makes my day. So all of the folks that have followed me tonight, just think of how many times my day was made. Because each and every one of you make my day. You just make my day. And I don't have a lot of days left. I'm an old man, Joe, hope to see you in the next one, buddy. Kendra says, damn, you all are making the rest of us look bad. Ha, ha, ha. Not a bit. The folks that are doing these super chats, like Cab, it becomes a habit supporting other creators. It just becomes a habit with them. And nobody, I don't, Cab doesn't, Cab, you stop it. All right. Cab just, I'm sure you see it. He just popped another one up there. You have another good 25 years in you. There, Sty North. I sure hope so, Cab. I sure hope so. If my years keep progressing as this last year has, and all of the new people I've met and all the great people I've met out there in the world because of this forum. Yeah. 25 years or 25 days. I think Sty's going to go a happy man. And there was a time when I didn't know that would be true. There was many times in my life I thought, I'm going to die an unhappy man, boy. I just won't feel that I've accomplished what I want in life. And now I'm starting to feel, yeah, life has had a great purpose. It has had a very great purpose. And it goes on. It goes on with all these great people, wonderful people. I want to say something for someone that it's going to seem a little unusual, I think, for some folks. We don't have a lot of viewers in here, but for those of you that are here, I was looking back at one of my other streams, and I saw a conversation going on in the chat that I had missed during the stream. And it was between Gary Irwin and somebody else. I think it was Sean Carl, or else it was plain old Chuck. And one of them said something about Gary Irwin's channel. And Gary Irwin said, I have a channel? And I thought, well, of course he has a channel. He's got to be on my subscribed list. You know, I subscribe to 99% of my viewers. So I went back and looked, and I wasn't subscribed to Gary Irwin. Guess what? Gary Irwin had 2 subscribers on his channel. He's got 6 videos from 4 years ago. Well, now he has 3 subscribers. And one of those subscribers will be there forever, and that's me. I watch all 6 of his videos. They're short. Gary, my gosh, man. I wish that was something you wanted to do, that you had a passion for it, and that's where you wanted to go, is to throw more videos on your channel. Those 6 videos, I enjoyed every single one of them. I especially enjoyed the one in the kayak. Oh, yeah. That one, that's one of those beautiful treasure moments where you just wish you could freeze yourself in time on those calm waters in a kayak. Oh, it was to die for. So, yes, Gary Irwin has a YouTube channel. He's got 6 videos and 3 subscribers. And it's one of my favorite channels. I'll go back and watch his 6 videos 6 times each. I like them. They're great. Some of the best creators in the world are these tiny little channels. They're just hidden jewels. They're what I talk about when I hike out in these woods out here and I find these waterfalls that nobody knows a name for them. And they go, but I heard there's something back there. I hike in there and I find these beautiful little jewels of a waterfall that nobody else goes to. There might be 20 visitors in a year, where another waterfall just 3 miles away gets 10,000 visitors. But it's that little jewel. If you don't go out there and look around for those little jewels, you're missing out on a lot. And Gary Irwin's little channel was one of those jewels I found. Gary, he says, well, thank you, Sty. I forgot about that. It was 4 years ago you posted those. Oh, they're great. They are great. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, Joe doesn't have to feel bad at all when you got to get up early. Hike with Mike. That is some good medicine, Sty. Thanks, Mike. Your swamp walks, your little swamp talks, are good medicine for me. Very good medicine for me. Andy says just an hour to go and I have to wake up and realize this has been some kind of dream. Andy, you cannot go all night without sleep, man. You can let us go. And we'll look forward to you for the next time. Andy says, best you don't watch any videos on mine, Sty, not without your earplugs in, mate. Hey, I got good volume control. I watch, and Andy, I do have you on my sub list as your sub. Um, I've been trying to get around to people's channels and watch their videos, and I've been watching a few and not leaving comments because I'm trying to fly through so many. But I'm getting to them. Yeah, Gills, isn't it great? Cabs jumped in here. And did you miss that, Gills? He left me a super chat. Really sweet $10 super chat. My boy, Running Water, had a little technical error and deleted Cab's comment out of the super chat. And whatever happened, he also put him on a timeout. Oh, you did see it. Oh, yeah. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen to Sty's channel, I guarantee you. Andy says, how long would it take for your boy to get a lawsuit together to remove a bunch of squatters? Actually, that boy of mine, he's my youngest boy. He'd be one where he'd say, well, if you're going to squat on it, then you're going to pay for it. Ante up enough to make the land payments on it, and you keep it clean and you take care of that land. Don't break the law, and fine. I bet you he'd do that. He would, in fact, he'd probably say, you pay me enough to make the land payment, which isn't much. His land payments are pretty low. He would say, and while you're at it, you can clear out where I eventually want to build my cabin. He wants to build a basically off-grid type cabin on that property. And yeah, if I could swing it, I'd buy the land off of him, and I'd just make it a Sty Park. Mr. Z says, heaven is taking a hammock and hanging it next to one of those waterfalls. I've got plans. You wait till this summer, folks. Yeah, I got plans. I don't know how much use I'm going to actually get out of Sty Shack 2, the trailer, how much renovation work I can get done on it. My resources are low. They're limited. So I will do my best to get the Sty Shack 2 rolling and in use before the end of the summer. But I have an awful lot of stuff that I'm going to be doing. A lot of camping, a lot of hiking, a lot of exploring. And I'm not going to show it to you tonight, but some of the things that were gifted to me and some of the things I invested in when I did have the resources were Running Water gave me a really nice hammock, that I will be putting to use. Definitely. He got me a really nice canteen kit with the canteen cup with cover and the stove, all in the canteen case. So I'll be doing some canteen videos. And oh yeah, Kendra, good night. I'm sorry I missed that. And I sure hope it'll notify you. You'll see it on Facebook if you check Facebook. And like I said, my next live stream is on the 29th. That's next Saturday. And it's great to have you here, Kendra. Yeah, Chuck, it's past his bedtime too, and it's always great having plain old Chuck here. Hey, I all of you, like I just can't quit saying it. All of you and your input, your interaction, it's all great. And it all has to do with our lifetime experiences, outdoors experiences, and just anything and everything that makes us who we are. And this chat is priceless. It's just priceless. So, Chuck, you have a very good night. Very good night. But yeah, I'm going to, I've got the new hammock. I've got a brand new tonneau cover for my truck and pulling the topper off of it after the snow's all gone and I can get my topper on a couple of sawhorses so it's safe off the ground. Um, put the new tonneau cover on, and I've got a pickup box tent. It goes up, it mounts on the box of the truck, and it goes up and goes up out over the folded out tailgate. So I can truck camp. I can drive into some pretty remote spots with my truck, and that'll be my jumping off point to go do day hikes and come back and camp at my truck. So I've got a lot of good, and there's a few other little other additions I have that I bought a brand new metal detector. Never got to use it I bought it late in the season last year. Never got to use it. I'll be taking that out, doing some treasure hunting, and um, yeah, there's a lot going to happen this summer. Oh my gosh, it's even better when the big cheese shows up. Everybody see that? Cavs Evan saying, I appreciate that, my friend. Gil Skills, you're awesome yourself. And old Cheesehead's in the house. It's about time, Cheese. Where you been? Where you been? Eating? Hey, eating? The yeah, Mr. Z. Who cut the cheese? I still if you ever get a chance, you can go back and look through all my videos and find the two. I did two with Cheesehead, and where we met up at the old Dynamite Shack, and we had a good chat there, and we cooked a little, and the that was the one and only time I got to meet Roger. Our love for outdoors. Um, he passed away shortly after that visit. Um, I felt honored to have gotten to meet him personally. Him and I, we messaged back and forth for the longest time, and Cheesehead met up with him a lot, and I didn't get to, but I finally did get to meet him, and unfortunately, he passed away soon after that. Um, but Cheesehead and I, yeah, yeah, we like to eat. Trying to win guns, Cheesehead says. Hey, if there's a gun raffle going on and you got a stake in it, you better be there. Um, Running Water says, I'll be getting supplies to replace my shed. You'll have to know what sort of supplies you're needing for the shack too, in case I can get good deals in quantity. You know, for the Sty Shack too, really all I'm going to need is at the most 4 2x4s, a sheet of 3/4 inch plywood. I want good plywood, because I'm going to be making a bunk out of it. But otherwise, there's really nothing in supplies I'm going to need. I got these awesome racks from work that I'm going to be mounting in the shack that will hold gear. Um, yeah, but I'll talk to you about that running water. We'll see. Um, yeah, no such luck. Well, it's just like the lotto. You can't win if you don't play. It's been such a neat night tonight again. I can't believe 3 hours and 15 minutes. It's 10:15. I'm going to have to, I'm supposed to take an insulin shot at 10:30. Um, I can be a little late, a little early, so I'm not too terribly concerned about it. Um, I see the viewers have dropped down. There's about a half a dozen of us. But and like I was saying earlier, that my next one will be on the 29th, Saturday night. Um, my next stream, and then the stream after that um, is going to be April 6th. April 6th. And that stream, okay, on the 29th, it'll start at 7 p.m. On April 6th, that stream is going to start at 10 p.m. In the absolute worst case, 10:15, but no way will it go past 10:15 that I started. Why am I starting it at 10 p.m. Central Time? Because that's when I'll be walking in the door. I'll have all my equipment set up, ready to go. All I got to do is hit the start button. I will be officially retired. And I'm going to sit here from 10 o'clock till I haven't got a soul watching me. And I'm going to just savor in my retirement moment, in that instant moment, fully aware that the next morning it doesn't matter, except that Cheesehead said he's going to call me at 7 o'clock. Cheesehead says, "You missed my brilliance this evening?" Wow. Yeah. Yeah, it could be a long evening waiting for that. You guys, it's Andy's having the keyboard blues there, and it's but I like that. Get his tuba out, his tuba. All right, now this is one. We're getting late here, and this is basically innuendo. So, um, I think I can get away with this. Oh, Gary's got to hang out or head out. Hey, gang, I got to go. Have a good night and stay safe. You too, Gary. You too. Man, thanks for being here. Thanks for sticking it all the way through this one. It's been a long one. And you've stuck it right out. You and Andy have just been hardcore tonight. Just hardcore tonight. But what I was going to say is running water. He was a teenager, a high school, playing his old trombone, and I didn't even realize what I was saying. We had a pastor and his wife at our house having coffee, and it's just the ex-wife and I and the pastor and his wife, and running water down in his bedroom, and he's playing that trombone. He's practicing on his trombone, and he doesn't realize we can't even talk upstairs because our kitchen's just pretty much so above his bedroom. And we can't hear nothing because he's playing that stupid trombone. So I go over with a split entry house. So I went over and I yelled down over the rail, down the stairs towards his bedroom, yelled down there. And he said, "Hey, running water." Finally, he heard me and he stopped and he goes, "What?" And I go, "We've got company here. Would you quit pulling on your bone and disrupting everything?" When I went back to that kitchen table to sit down and finish my coffee with them folks, and I saw the looks on their faces, that's when I realized what I had just said to my oldest boy. Uh-huh. Innuendos. I'm innocent and know of no such thing. That's good, Kendra. Oh. Mr. Z, good night, buddy. Good night, good night. Have a good one. Yeah, Cheesehead. He played the bone, played with the bone too. Yeah. Yeah, you get right out there in the band, marching band, pulling your bone right down the street. Andy K says, as Donnie said earlier, this one time at Sty Camp. I tell you what, there's Sty General Camp, and then there's Sty Special Camp. And that's when Sty sets his meds aside for a day and he drinks Sty tea for the day. And then we really have a rolling good time around camp. Um, that camp is typically age restricted. Nobody under the age of 18 and nobody over the age of 123. Yes, I remember when you came up there and said you were just in your room playing with your organ. And there was another issue with that organ you had. You came up with a newspaper clipping and you said, "Check this out. Dad, can I get a few bucks? Can I?" And I said, "What?" He says, "Look at this ad." And I looked at the ad, and that ad said, "Organ lessons, X amount of dollars. You need not provide your own organ." I told him, "I am not going to pay for you to go play with somebody else's organ. Ain't happening." There's another word for doing that. Ain't happening. Andy, that's too good. That is just too good. I can tell this. I can tell this stream is getting a little downhill towards the end, isn't it? And that's a good one. The yeah, yeah. uh, he says, "Feel free to delete that one, Sty." the Kendra's Kendra's comment got flagged because of the sh word. I'm going to leave it as it stands there, but she says that You all are making it difficult to sleep. Yeah. See, Kendra, you get kind of caught up in this stuff, and you just can't. You go, oh, I just gotta hear a little more, and that's me. I always say, as long as I got a few folks in the chat and I'm not falling asleep at the wheel, I'll let it go. What the heck? Um, the And no, Andy, I'm not deleting that one. That one's pretty good. That reminds me of the fella that his wife had just given birth to their ninth child, and the doctor said, "Doggone it, man! If you don't do something, you're going to have number 10 in a year." And the guy goes, "Oh, we can't afford no more kids." I says, "I just can't have." Doctor says, "Well, here, I'll give you some advice, and you just follow my advice, and you won't have to worry about kids anymore." Well, it was about 5, 6 months later. They're back at the doctor, and the doctor's checking this guy's wife out, and he goes, "Oh my gosh, she's pregnant again." The guy goes, "I don't know why." He says, "I followed your advice." And the doctor goes, "Did you follow my advice exactly?" And he says, "Well," he says, "there was a couple of items I didn't have." He says, "I'm not sure, but," he says, "I think it was close enough." And the doctor says, "What do you mean close enough?" And he goes, "Well, a boot on the piano is okay, isn't it?" Yeah, running water. That's right. Make extra money. Yeah, Mother Nature always did give the best meds, Sty. Yeah. Oh, no problem, Kendra. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it at all. That's not even a shame on you. That's that's just that's the world of YouTube. We struggle with YouTube all the time. Oh, I I don't know how you're doing it, Andy. I don't know how you're doing it, man. I don't. Yeah, the yeah. I'm thinking I'm gonna have to be wrapping this up. I gotta have a late night snack and a shot of insulin. Dang insulin. I'm getting off that stuff this summer. By golly, if I get out there and I start pounding the trails and getting the exercise I need, I'll definitely get that. I just got a notification. I got a heart from Gary Irwin on his channel on one of my comments. Um, I don't think the man looks at his own channel, but like I said, I loved his 6 videos he's got up, and he just he must have been checking his channel out. That's pretty good. I say, yeah, check out Gary Irwin's little tiny channel. He's only got 3 subscribers, and Gary goes and checks his own channel out. Good for Gary. Yeah, Andy, is Kendra talking? Stop. And that's why it got flagged. Yeah, YouTube's algorithm and how they watch language now on people's comments is just outrageous, outrageous. Now I've got now if you're dropping F bombs and that, it's gonna flag it, it's gonna stop it. Because I've got that we could build our own restricted word list. Well, I've got some words in that restricted word list. The word she used isn't on it, is not on that list. And neither is ass, because I use it all the time. Um, but it'll still flag them. That's YouTube. And then they show, if you show the comments too many times, 2-3 times during a stream, then they don't flag your channel or anything. But what they do is they will start reducing the amount that they do impressions on your channel to suggest it out. So that's all I'm trying to avoid. Cheesehead. Sty's a big bozo. Who you calling a clown, buddy? Yup, that still works. He's testing the algorithm. Let's see what I can say about Sty and get away with it. Oh, cheesehead. I wouldn't know what to do without you sometimes. Oh. And Running Water says, and crafting that list can be entertaining. Yeah. I usually don't write that kind of stuff. typing that stuff in is just like, whoa. Yeah, I wouldn't want them saying that. No. Go ahead, flag that one. Yeah, somebody's mother wouldn't be happy if that showed up on Sty's channel. Well, guys, we're down to 3 folks and me. So we hit the 3 hour and 31 minute mark. 32, 3 hours, 32 minutes. And she's, that's what you have paid me for. Wait a second, I haven't gotten paid yet. That's why I get that from you. You're right. That's why I get what I paid for. Nothing good. Oh, I wouldn't know what to do without you, she said. I just wouldn't know. It's been a great night, guys. I'd love to keep chatting with you, but I really do have to take my insulin. I gotta have a snack and call it a night, I guess. And then I will see anybody that's available next Saturday night, the 29th at 7 p.m. And then the next one will be on April 6th, my retirement stream. So good night, everybody. What's this say here? It's awkward when you need to check Google for the proper spelling of certain words. That's what Google's for, ain't it? And he says, yeah, my dad used to have a few shots before he went to sleep. Sleep in the morning, sleep in the afternoon, a big sleep at night. Yeah. I used to take those kind of shots too. You know, if you take all those shots during your life that are made with sugar, you end up taking the shots to counter the sugar at the end. Yeah. Okay. I got to say goodnight to all you guys. Thanks for hanging around. It's been a great stream. Another awesome stream. Love you guys and hope to see you the next time I'm up. And there will be a next time. There's always going to be a next time. So until then, hey, you all have a very nice night, and Sty will see you later. Bye, guys.